Do you want more opportunities? Do you want more clients? Do you want a better salary or work in a better company? If you say yes to all those questions, then you have to watch this live stream because today I'm very honored to interview my sister for the very first time on a live stream, on a Be live stream, to ask her about her opinions. Actually, not opinions, but her expertise on LinkedIn. So, like, how did she start? Growing her LinkedIn profile and how did she actually use it to advance her career in digital marketing. So I'm so excited, yeah, because this is the first time I'm interviewing her, and at the same time, actually she did interview me before, so this is kind of like an exchange. So she interviewed me in another app with live stream about freelancing and how to get started with your digital marketing career. So this time I'm so honored to introduce my sister, Lala Enriquez.
Hello. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for inviting me on this live stream, Irene. It's an honor for me as well. You're one
Yay!
of my inspirations in life. So yeah, it's this is an awesome opportunity for me.
Thank you. I'm so glad to hear that. Just a little bit of background. So Lala and I mentioned that we are sisters. So if this is the first time that you're like seeing us together, we actually a lot of people tell me we look alike. So yeah, now we have different last names because I got married. So, but yeah, we are sisters. I'm the eldest. She's the youngest. I always say like we're kind of twins, but like 11 years apart.
Yeah.
So yeah, Lala, can you tell us a little bit more? Can you tell us a bit about how you started, like with working remotely and like becoming a digital marketer and digital nomad?
You encouraged me. That's the summary for that. So yeah, a little while after graduation, I figured out that working in a corporate setting wasn't the life I want for myself. And I've already discovered about this remote working stuff from you, and I said, if my sister can do it, why can't I? So yeah, a little while after graduation, I accepted this opportunity in a B2B company. So it's a company that sells software solutions from Israel, and they resell it here in the Philippine market. So that's how it's kind of a mix with that company. I started out working in an office, and then kind of like transition to working at home starting from there. It provided me a mix of office work and remote work, and I've discovered what I really want um, to do with that opportunity. And also with that company, I was able to discover the power of LinkedIn.
That's amazing. So yeah, can you so a little bit of background. So Lala also mentioned that I kind of encourage her. So this is actually my 10th year
Hi,
working remotely.
congratulations.
Thank you. I sometimes I can believe it's been a decade. So in that decade, I had like so many steps in terms of working remotely. I work at some point I was completely freelancing, and also I was
Mhm.
working with a company in Alabang, but allows working remotely. So like, it's been an amazing journey, and there's so many things that you can do with remote work. So I'm so glad you made that decision and made that jump from corporate work to digital marketing, especially nowadays. Like it's so much traffic, and also a lot of people are being encouraged to actually
Yeah.
work at home because of the coronavirus. So yeah, just like wanted to share that like everyone has their amazing journey and unique and different ways of how they started working remotely. So you mentioned that in your work you discovered like the opportunities on LinkedIn. So how did you discover that, and like what are the first steps that you took to learn more about LinkedIn?
So yeah, as I've mentioned, I've worked with this B2B company that resells software solutions from Israel to here to the Philippine market, and we were a small team, and they really didn't have a big budget for marketing campaigns. So we decided to focus our efforts on one platform. So that's LinkedIn, and through LinkedIn, I was able to generate leads for this company and reach out to decision makers and different um, financial institutions and other commercial other BPO companies as well through LinkedIn.
Awesome. So, like, what were like the specific things you did in order to basically find leads for the company, Israeli company that you were working for?
So it's mostly really reaching out to decision makers and looking if they are in need of the solution. So on LinkedIn, it's not really about pitching your product first. It's not about that, but it's more on building the relationship first before going on and promoting your stuff.
Awesome. Yeah, I totally agree with that. I actually have kind of in the past few years, my LinkedIn profile was there, but I wasn't really using it. And this time, Lala was the one who encouraged me to actually like be more present on LinkedIn. And now I like spend 30 minutes each day to like post something, engage with other people, and I can
Mm-hmm.
start to see the results. Like more people are viewing my profile, more people are interacting with my post, and it's also amazing to connect with a lot of people and a lot of experts from the world. Especially I want to shout out like Owen Video. So Owen Video is actually an amazing YouTube marketer he helps us in terms of like everything related to YouTube, and also he has a show on our Facebook page at Be Live, and I can see also his amazing LinkedIn presence, and I'm always interacting with his posts, and interacting with his posts allows me to see all the other experts that I should follow on LinkedIn. So just engaging every day, even if it's just for a few minutes, has really helped me out, kind of understand how LinkedIn works. So when you mentioned earlier, like I think it was 2 years ago when you started like doing your first like LinkedIn generation. So how has it changed now, like after 2 years? Because before I think it was mainly for the company that you're doing, but now,
Mm-hmm.
like, do you have a specific routine in your LinkedIn profile personally?
Personally, it's a way for me to build my brand for myself. So I've always worked with companies to build out their brands, but this time I'm working on my own. So I just want to share a little story. So you mentioned about engaging with experts and stuff. So I had this I was able to get an opportunity here on LinkedIn because I was engaging with the country manager of Mundi Pharma in the Philippines. So he's like the top guy in that company. And at first I was just engaging with his content and stuff, and a little while after that, after I built my relationship with him over talking on LinkedIn, we were able to meet up. So imagine that, connecting with the top guy of a company. So if you have done that in a traditional way, it's gonna be difficult because if you do cold calling, it's a lot of hard work, and also there are a lot of gatekeepers. So it's quite impossible to do that. But with LinkedIn, I was able to reach out to him and able to convert him as a client.
That's awesome. So I'm actually just I'm not sure if you're seeing my screen, but I'm just
Yep,
like
I'm seeing it.
yeah, I'm just like showing Lala's profile on LinkedIn, and maybe later Lala can walk us through. Yeah, so I think I've benefited as well in terms of your meeting with that country manager because I got some free cool stuff
Yeah,
as
yeah.
well.
That's one of the benefits as well.
Yeah,
You get
so
free stuff.
that's amazing. Like, because usually, when you meet with people, it's usually like an introduction, like someone you know, like brings you to a meeting, and then you get introduced. Especially when I was working in Israel, that's
Mm-hmm.
actually like what happens most of the time. But you can kind of have that experience. In terms of like almost the same experience, like people can introduce you and you can meet other people, but it's all happening online. So for those a lot of the people that I want to do a shout out to freelancers hub Philippines for sharing
Yeah. Thanks
our
for sharing.
yeah, for sharing our post. So if you have like I hope there are many people who are watching right now or in the replay that like are freelancing or starting to plan their freelancing career. How would you leverage LinkedIn? What are your tips for them in order to leverage LinkedIn to getting their first clients or to getting better clients?
I think the first step is really building out a great profile. If you want to have some tips there, I recommend you to follow Virginia Bautista. So she's an awesome freelancer. So she built out a brand on LinkedIn that I personally look up to and I really love. So if you want to get more clients and use LinkedIn as a platform to grow your personal brand as a freelancer, I highly recommend to work on your profile first because that's kind of like your online CV. You know, people in the past don't look at social media as a way to weigh your character or know more about you. But right now, with this kind of tools available for us, some HR managers or recruiters or even your clients really look into what you've done so far. So it's also I just want to say that be authentic when it comes to building out your LinkedIn profile because you don't want to over exaggerate like some people I know. So yeah. So it's important to be authentic and really showcase what you have done so far as an expert or as a specialist in a certain field. And I think that's what that is the most important thing, to be authentic while showcasing your expertise.
So, how do you stay like authentic? So, because like for me as a marketer, I have like a knack for making sure that I'm presenting everything in the best light possible, but of course without lying. So, like, what are your specific tips to make sure that you are authentic, but at the same time you're like presenting yourself in the best way on LinkedIn?
I think it's just, I just want to share this story that I've heard from a sales expert. So this one guy was, promoting himself on LinkedIn as a sales coach without knowing the specific terms in sales like CRM. So he was promoting his profile as a sales expert when in fact he doesn't even know about CRM. So I think it's just important to not lie or over exaggerate certain aspects of yourself, but at the same time be proud of what you've achieved so far. So if you want to share more about the things that you're working on or the projects you've done so far, that's all right. It's just that it's never good to lie, especially on LinkedIn where there are so many experts who can see through those kind of things. So I say that because I don't want somebody to experience the same thing that guy experienced. So when other experts see through his lies, he was berated on LinkedIn, and it was an awful experience. So it's just important to be authentic in a way that you're showcasing yourself, you're promoting yourself with the capabilities that you have and expertise in your field without really over exaggerating it, because some people do that on LinkedIn, and you kind of get like a consequence for doing that.
Yeah, and I think that's not only true in LinkedIn, like basically everywhere. Like when people find out that you are not like authentic and or not credible, then eventually it comes out. And speaking of being authentic in LinkedIn, there is what they call LinkedIn Live. So it's still in beta. I actually
Yeah,
applied. Yeah, and I'm so excited to actually do that because supposed to be we should be doing this live on LinkedIn as well.
yeah, because
um,
yeah.
so what are your thoughts on LinkedIn Live? Is that something once you get access to, or once everyone has access, how are you planning to use it? And if you are, like, what are the different ways that you're going to use LinkedIn Live?
Right now, I'm not too comfortable with live streaming, but it's certainly in my plans. Actually, I just want to say that this is my first live stream on Facebook. So yeah,
Really?
yeah, I don't do live streams and stuff on Facebook, but I did in other app. But it's not professional. It's not a kind of like a professional discussion. More on like discussing with your followers and stuff. So it's not it's not a good live stream in a way. So this kind of my first live stream on Facebook. But in terms of LinkedIn Live, I've seen a lot of LinkedIn coaches that are doing it and getting results from it. So they do this kind of interviews with other experts, and I think that's a good way to expand your brand, because if you are just starting out, it's going to be quite difficult to grow your following. So they collaborate with those experts in the industry and tap their audience. So if I have LinkedIn Live in the future, I that's one of the methods that I will do.
Yeah, I totally agree. So for me, I like go live, as you know, all the time. I started
Yeah.
doing on Facebook when and I feel like actually people are like getting sick of me. Ah, stop going live. But yeah, uh,
No,
I
don't
love
stop.
live. I love live stream. Like I think for me, like my core has always been video, and I'm glad that actually I'm working in a company that kind of that's also the core of the company, and it's just like
Hmm.
basically it's just an extension of me. So like I'm so excited about that, and I'm glad that we actually did this on Facebook, because originally we were planning to go do it on YouTube, but I feel like more people know us on Facebook,
Yeah.
and like yeah, we get a lot more views and reach, and I think that's one of the things that I'm going to experiment as well. Like Facebook and YouTube, I'm doing a lot of lives as well on YouTube. So last night I just like activated my ability to live stream on YouTube. So I'm excited to do that, and hopefully you'll be up for more live streams in the future. So yeah,
Sure.
I want to ask more about as well, because you used to do it for a company that you're working for. Now you're also working as biz dev at Octacom. So like as a working in Octacom for like as a lead generation specialist, like what do you do for the clients? Like what would be the first thing that you would advise for a client, or like even a freelancer to do? So like first you gotta fix your profile, make sure that it's authentic. So like
Hmm.
what are the next steps so that you can
So,
actually get
mhm.
leads and stuff?
So yeah, I just want to recommend the book that I've read about Lincoln lead generation. So this is it's called The Link Method by Melanie Dodaro. So I actually discovered the process that I've been doing all along 2 years ago, and now with her book. So it's an awesome book. I highly recommend it. So this are the four process that in summary that you need to do on LinkedIn in order to generate leads. So the first one is to look for prospects and opportunities. The second one is to initiate a conversation. Third one is nurture the relationship, and the fourth one is to kick out the conversation offline. So it's not a quick process. That's what I'm gonna that's what I'm gonna tell the salespeople or the lead generation specialists that are watching right now. It's not a quick process. You have to build the relationship first before kicking up the conversation offline, because if you pitch out the moment you see a prospect or a lead, it's gonna get ignored. So I highly recommend to create a series of messages or engage with their content, or reach out to them in a way that it's not related to business or stuff, or give them valuable content. Those are the ways that you can start out a relationship, and then try to kick up the conversation offline, like inviting them to a meeting or um, chatting up on Skype.
That sounds awesome. I personally actually get a lot of pitch so on LinkedIn, and I just like market bread
Yeah.
when yeah, when I see that. Can we do a shout out of the LinkedIn profile that you recently did for Carlo? of ETAP. Oh, that was already the shout out because
Yeah.
I yeah, so because I kind of saw Lala's journey and how she was able to do that. So it's amazing. One thing that I learned from that process from Lala is that first, before you kind of reach out to your to like before you start your lead generation, you need to have a really good profile for both your personal and then the company that you're working for. So uh like I saw the journey of like how it was completely zero. The company profile was like nothing, and then it went to a really good one. Can you have like tips for? And I think this tips works for both freelancer and startups. Like, in order to have a really good profile, how will you tell the story of your company or of yourself? Like,
I
what are the
think
specific items that they should see on the company profile?
in terms of the company profile, it's important that when people visit it, they see your core message. And I think ETAP's core message is really beautiful because, you know, they are focused on um, giving financial services to those that are unbanked. And for our audience that are not in the Philippines, 70% of our countrymen doesn't have a bank account. So that's a lot of people. So ETAP services, their kiosk machines, allows those people to have to avail financial transactions that they would not otherwise have without the machine. So it's more about telling a story of how you want to solve a specific problem, and then telling it in a way that affects your target audience emotionally. So I think it's not just applicable for LinkedIn, but also in any social media channel that you want to build out. It's really important to know what your core beliefs are, whether you are a company or an individual, and showing the world how you want to solve that specific problem and how your company can help in a way that's not promotional but more focused on telling a great story. Yeah.
Totally agree. And for you guys, so who are watching and you're like wondering what to do with LinkedIn, what to like, where to start, what to do next, please share with us your questions, your comments. So we'd be happy to help you out. Maybe we could actually do a live kind of a coaching of LinkedIn so we can see your profile.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that is going to be an interesting way to do it live. And also, if you have topics that you want us to cover. So I've been working remotely for 10 years, like in different roles. And Lala actually is a great story of how she was able to transition from like graduating to corporate, like very quick transition from
Yeah.
corporate work
It
to
was a very
freelance.
quick transition.
Yeah, because like for me, it was actually not a very quick transition. If I could like just tell my story a little bit, so I was actually in the call center industry for 3 years, and but my main goal was always to be a writer. So and then Carl was actually the one who convinced me that there's a lot of opportunities to work at home. The ironic thing is like he was the one who like I was the one who first did it, and then he followed years later. So that's actually when we started. Carl and I started Octocom, so he's now like fully managing Octocom with Lala, and and yeah, so that's an amazing story as well, which we'll probably tell later. But yeah, so I was like, and it was a series of transition. First, I was working as a call center agent, worked at home. So and then I became an SEO writer while doing the center agent thing. But after 6 months of fully doing home based call center, I was like quitting and transitioning fully to like non phone calls related job. So it was very scary, but it was also very liberating. So if you're used to be a call center agent and you kind of and you quit that industry, I know that like the day that you were not making taking calls anymore is like woo. And I remember that time because Lala was actually 16 when I rendered my
Yeah, I was
resignation.
16.
Yeah, and we were watching Toy Story 3 in MOA, and that was the time that did my resignation from the home based call
Oh,
center
I
job.
didn't know that. That was my
Yeah.
birthday.
Yeah, it was your birthday, and it was the last it was the day that I rendered my resignation. So like so if you're wondering what, like if you are in a corporate job right now, because I always get that question, and I'm actually thinking whether I should do a course about it, let me know. I just want to give back basically in my 10th year of working remotely. That's why like I'm doing all of these live streams, so hopefully I can tell not just my story but also the other stories of people, like and I know my sister's story very well because I became a part of that. So yeah, if that's content that you would love to hear from us as well, let us know. We'd be happy to share that story. And Lala, one last question from you is, where can people find you, and like feel free to promote all of the projects that you are working on right now.
So yeah, they can find me on LinkedIn.
Of course.
If you want to see how to create a great profile, you can find me on LinkedIn. Please follow me there. Send me a connection invite. Let's talk. Or if you want to meet me in person, I'm always at our restaurant shop. It's called My Nichi Ramen. If you're around Bacoor a lot, so Bacoor Cavite, it's near SM Molino. Please visit me, and I will give you free coaching sessions, whether that's on LinkedIn lead generation or about transitioning to freelancing, or even about digital marketing and stuff. Just send me a message on Facebook, and let's meet up.
Awesome. And I will put all of the links as well, Lala's company and all the my blog, because I do have a lot of blogs about remote working and how to transition. So I hope that will be helpful. So please feel free to put all the links. And yeah, we'll see you again in our next live. Thank you so much, La, for spending your morning with me. I guess I'll see you on Friday.
Yeah, see you. Thank you for inviting me.
Bye. Yes. Have a great
Bye.
day. Bye.
Bye.